Hello and welcome to Winchester Now, our weekly news programme here on Winchester Radio. I'm Mary Blaxland with a roundup of some of the stories making the news around the city this week, including an appeal from traders in Parchment Street. We hear about a unique exhibition at the Ark, and an historic parade takes place in Winchester. Winchester Radio. The Princess Royal has been in Winchester as 500 members of the Royal Logistic Corps marched through the city. They paraded from the Peninsula Barracks to the Guildhall, where Princess Anne, who's their Colonel-in-Chief, took the salute. In a speech, she thanked Winchester for honouring the Corps and recognising it as a valued part of the community. The RLC is celebrating its 30th anniversary and was recently granted freedom of the city. It moved to their headquarters at Worthy Down in 2021. Hundreds of people lined the High Street and the Broadway to watch.
My brother's travelled over from Northern Ireland to join the march because he's served he's still serving. So he's been serving for 24 years plus.
So it must be a very proud moment for you to see him.
Absolutely. Both my dad and my brother have served and I'm very proud of their service.
The RLC used to be my regiment. I was a chef in catering support regiment. I did 20 years and now I live in Winchester. I thought, as it's so close, I would come.
Does it bring back fond memories of your time?
Oh, yeah. Once a soldier, never forgotten.
I'm still serving, so I'm part of the RLC at the moment. So it's a good opportunity to come and celebrate the Corps, basically.
How exciting is it that they're getting this freedom parade?
Oh, it's absolutely massive. It's such a nice thing to be able to celebrate the Corps and something like this, just so public, and to bring everyone, veterans, still people serving, I think makes it a really special occasion for us.
My husband's parading today, so we've come down from Plymouth, that's where he's based, up at Derriford. So yeah, we're here to support him with his two children and have a lovely day. So looking forward to it.
What's it like to see him parade and to see him come here through Winchester? What will it be like?
So proud of him. Yeah, it just, makes you just burst with pride really to see them all looking so smart and, being here on this special day. And yeah, it's just a bit overwhelming really, I think sometimes as well. But it's lovely. It's great to be a part of it.
Hi, my name is Colonel Patrick Allen. I'm Colonel Royal Logistic Corps.
And what was your response to getting this freedom parade today?
The freedom of any city is always a privilege. To be granted the freedom of such a prestigious place such as Winchester is an honour that we will guard very, very fiercely. It's a historic city. Many other regiments have been before us, and for us as a very young regiment and only arrived in the city within the last 2 years, to be granted the freedom is very special indeed.
And to have the Princess Royal here must have been special too.
And to have our Colonel-in-Chief here today is remarkable. We're incredibly grateful for her making time in her busy programme. She's been with the Royal Logistic Corps from formation. In fact, she inspected the very first parade of the Royal Logistic Corps, and to have her here in our new regimental home on our 30th year is tremendous.
How important is the Royal Logistic Corps?
We are the glue that holds everything together. We feed people, we supply people, we drive people, we provide the information systems to make the computers work. 16 different trade groups across the whole of the Royal Logistic Corps, 10,000 regulars, 4,000 reserves, and a veteran community of about 35,000, and we've got about 2,500 here today.
Later, there was a Thanksgiving service at Winchester Cathedral. Winchester Radio. Don't forget about us. That's the plea from traders in Parchment Street. Businesses hosted a mini festival to highlight what they have to offer. It included live music, a treasure hunt, face painting, history tours and special offers. The street has the highest number of independent businesses, but although just off the high street, many traders fear they miss out, which is why they launched Patronize Parchment Street. It was organised by Tim Beavis of Picaramba and Charlie Broom from Cupboard of Health.
It's a lovely street. It's got real history to it. It's a very quaint street. You've got these amazing, very unique businesses along here. And some of them have been here a really long time. And I just felt we were quite under-patronised. So we wanted to kind of organise something that kind of celebrated the history of the street, celebrated the independent businesses here, and just kind of reminded people that we're here. Kind of try and venture off the beaten track. Come and support your local independents.
And how tough is it for traders down here?
Some of the businesses here have been here a long time, so they do get like a regular clientele. They've built up a real reputation. Some of us are newer, And so we do rely more on that footfall, and footfall can be quite low. So obviously the cost of living, the energy bills, everything are all going up. Obviously prices are going up too. We are finding it hard, but we just want to do proactive things to sort of like remind people that we're here. I mean, the high street's very immediate, and I think sometimes people forget there's more beyond the high street. And some of the bigger sort of chains, they don't need the patronage like we do. We do rely on local support.
What more do you think could be done to make people aware, especially tourists, I suppose, that you are here?
Well, there is a sign. I know that there was a lovely sign done at the end of W.H. Smith's there. It's sort of like lovely sort of white writing on black. I mean, obviously if we can have more kind of events like this would be great. Maybe some kind of map that really marks out independence, that when tourists come, etc., they can be told about the number of independent businesses that are in Winchester, because there's many, but they are, again, off the beaten track.
He missed the time when we met and played song for me. Jingle, jingle morning, I come following you.
I'm Tim from Pikerama Winchester. We've always prided ourselves we're quite off the beaten path, but a lot of people go out to try and find us. It's great that happens, but we want a collective community within the independents down the street and more of awareness and identity for the street itself. Winchester's great for its independence, so it's just kind of like giving us a bit more attention on this street, not just for us but for all the others too, because there's a wide variety of shops and products to be purchased here. So we just kind of want to bring more attention to it, really, just kind of raise the profile of the street.
Do you feel sometimes people don't realise you're here?
Yeah, no, completely. We regularly get customers that will come down and find us, and I'll chat to them at the beginning, and they'll be like, oh yeah, we've lived in Winchester for years, we never realised there was this down here. And it's amazing they've come down and visit, but like, let's make this street as aware publicly as Jewellery Street, for example. Like, there's just as much going on, if not possibly more, in terms of the amount of independence we've got down here, so I don't see why this shouldn't be as well known as that street, for example.
And how tough is it for you at the moment? Like you said, there's loads of restaurants on Jewellery Street in the city centre. Does that make an impact on you?
What's interesting is since COVID, a lot of the chains have come and gone and changed, but it's the independents that have got a strong identity, a strong product, not just this street, but the other streets. I think the independents are the ones that have got the strength here in Winchester, so it's just building upon that and just helping each other out, really. Across. That's what I really like about this, is it'll be the independents along the street helping one another out in a collective community. Okay, fine, there'll be a competition here and there with like different types of cafes, different types of restaurants, but at its core, it's independence helping independence. It's the community behind it that is my drive, personally.
Would you do something like this again?
I think, yeah, we're going to see how it goes. I think certainly it's been a big learning curve, but I think it could be used as a kind of pilot, like for other ones. It'd be nice actually to involve more of the independent businesses across Winchester as well, because there are many, not just in this street, but we have the biggest sort of concentration of independents in this street. But yeah, absolutely, it'd be really nice to kind of club together as independents across the city. But I think, yeah, maybe a city-wide one at some point would be great.
Charlie Broom ending that report. Now, with some of the other stories in the news this week, here's Steve Walker.
There's more disruption this week for passengers travelling on South Western Railway, with strikes by both the RMT and ASLEF unions. It's part of a long-running dispute over pay, jobs and working conditions. Wednesday and Saturday will see a reduced service, but on Friday rail bosses say large parts of the network will be closed. Passengers are advised to only travel if absolutely necessary. A clampdown on knife crime in Hampshire has resulted in more than 100 weapons being taken off the streets. It was part of a national week of action known as Operation Sceptre. 123 knives were handed into surrender bins at locations across the county. 14 knives were recovered during stop searches. The week also included raising awareness about the dangers of carrying a weapon. A knife arch was set up at Winchester University to act as a visual deterrent and to encourage engagement with the community. New speed cameras have been installed on the A32 and A272 that runs between Winchester and Petersfield. It follows a number of fatal collisions on the road in recent years. The Police and Crime Commissioner made the decision following concerns from MPs, councillors and local residents about safety and excessive noise from speeding vehicles. Winchester City Council has become one of the first local authorities in the UK to install incontinence bins in their men's public toilets, enabling men to dispose of pads and other products. Prostate Cancer UK started a Boys Need Bins campaign, with figures showing as many as 1 in 3 men over 65 years of age experience these problems. Hygiene bins have been placed in public toilets across the district, including the Guildhall, Abbey Gardens and its council offices. And finally, Winchester Cathedral's peregrine check that we featured in last week's programme has been named as Rosie. Her name is inspired by the rose window in the cathedral, beneath which the peregrines nest. It followed an appeal on social media for a name for the young bird, which attracted hundreds of suggestions. And that's the news from around Winchester. I'm Steve Walker.
It's an event that's raised more than £150,000 for local charities since it started in 2004, and now competitors are being urged to come forward for Winchester's Pedal Paddle Pace Triathlon. It's organised by Winchester Round Table, the Ladies' Circle and Winchester 41 Club. Anna spoke to Chairman Andy Chalmers.
It is a community event. It's not very competitive triathlon, although there will be prizes and rewards for some winning categories. It's an opportunity to get out in an organised event in a really nice location. The first event in the 3 is a 20-kilometre bike ride, which sets off from Winchester Guildhall. The bike ride goes out towards Easton and Avington and then back into Winchester. And then it finishes at the Palmersfield site. Then from there, it's a 5-kilometre run past the Handlebar Cafe, all the way down the route by the River Itchen, down to the old railway viaduct, and then back again. So it's a nice route, flat, tarmac, so not too challenging for the run. And then the final element, which is different for a triathlon, is that we include a kayak on the River Itchen. And it's a 2-kilometre kayak, which goes by Palmersfield itself. So not too challenging, but just enough to get your breath up and get you excited. The difference with our triathlon is that we don't time the transitions. So it's relaxed. There's an opportunity to have a breather between the events, have whatever you need to refuel and then go again. So as an entry point to triathlons, it's very easy. It's a nice, relaxed triathlon. The joy of it is that we invite families down, we invite communities down. The other event we've got on site is 1-kilometre fun run, which we'll be running for our younger participants. Unfortunately, due to insurance reasons, we can only have people enter the event that are over 16. But for the younger participants, we're putting on a quick fun run onto the site with suitable medals and rewards, and it'll only be a small amount to enter. But all that money goes back into the community and back into Winchester charities.
So 20-kilometre cycle, a 5-kilometre run, a 2-kilometre kayak. They don't need to bring their own kayak or anything on the day.
That's right. We provide all the kayaks. We provide buoyancy aids and the paddles. The only thing that people need to bring is their own bike and helmet. We can't stress the helmet point enough. Without a helmet, people won't be allowed to do the race.
And it is such a lovely community fun event that people can come along and they can cheer on loved ones on the day. I think the other thing to say is it's a teamwork thing because you can enter as an individual. Teams of 2 or 3 are accepted as well, aren't they?
That's right. So we've got 2 entry levels. So we've got the individual level, which is £40 to enter. And then there is a team relay opportunity of 2 or 3 people, which is £60 to enter for the team. But 2 or 3 of you can do one of the legs. So one person might do the bike ride, person might do the run, and one person might do the kayak, etc. So there's the 2 options to try and include as many people as we can. And we've got a good number of teams already entered.
Andy Chalmers there, and the event takes place on the 9th of July, and information can be found on the website winchesterppp.co.uk.
Hi, I'm Paul Blitz, and it's time for this week's shout-outs. We start with a big thanks to everyone who attended the Lions Picnic at the Winchester Rugby Club last Saturday. It was organised by Hampshire Hospitals Charity to raise funds for their Magic Lion appeal. The fundraiser included sports tasters, live music, face painting, a barbecue and more. The appeal's aim is to enhance hospital care for children and young people in Hampshire. The Winchester Beacon has given a big thank you to pub quizzers at the King Alfred, along with manager Ali and her team. They've raised £200 at their bi-weekly quiz to support the work of the charity. And Winchester Sport and Leisure Centre has taken to social media to give a huge well done to everyone who took part in this year's swimathon over the bank holiday weekend. Swimmers took part as individuals or in a team in aid of a number of charities, including Cancer Research UK and Marie Curie. Nationally, the event has topped nearly £1 million. And finally, a huge congratulations to students and staff at Sparsholt College who won a gold medal at this year's Chelsea Flower Show. The entry, called Rustic Recipes Reimagined, was inspired by recipes from medieval cookery books that can be foraged from the local countryside or gardens. It's the 25th time that they've displayed at the prestigious event, and this is their 10th Gold Award. Well done everyone, and thank you all.
Winchester Radio.
Now, he's known for his paintings of chocolate box English scenery, but a new exhibition at the Ark in Winchester shows a darker side to the painter John Constable. It's a unique collection of his work by the Hampshire Cultural Trust, and Winchester is the only city hosting the display. I spoke to curator and art historian Nicola Morby.
I was really excited to be asked to curate a show on John Constable because he's an artist that most people know the name, even if you're not all that interested in art history. But I was very keen to tell a personal story, and one which I think is very relatable today, which is to do with the emotional struggles of life and how those things are overcome. The theme of the exhibition is light and dark, and some of the personal darkness in Constable's life. He was married to a lady called Mariah who suffered from tuberculosis, and sadly she died quite young, and that bereavement was a major milestone in his life, and it really impacted his later work. He also had 7 children, so he was a single working father, often plagued with anxieties, very relatable anxieties about their education, their happiness, their health as well. And I think in today's society there's a lot of emphasis on mental health and emotional resilience, and so it's a story that, you know, comes through as something we can all identify with.
Because most of us have the image of Constable as those picturesque scenes, beautiful pictures,
very carefree and happy.
But these show a really darker side, like you say.
They do, yes. So there's lots of stormy skies, dark shadows, but always with Constable there's a bit of light injected, and I think ultimately it's also about the triumph of coming through difficult times and the light after the dark, and Constable understood that you couldn't have one without the other. It's quite a profound message, really.
And where did your interest in Constable start?
So I'm a 19th century specialist, and of course Constable is one of the giants of landscape painting during the 19th century. But really it's his sort of the more private side to him, which is so fascinating. These beautiful on-the-spot oil sketching that he does, his draftsmanship, his pencil drawings are incredibly beautiful, and also his letters. He left behind an enormous correspondence, volumes and volumes of it, and it tells us so much about the kind of person that he was. He's got a nice turn of phrase. He's somebody that you can learn an awful lot about as a character and as an individual.
And is he still popular? I was telling you earlier I had the picture of the haywain growing up on our dining room wall. Is he still popular today?
Absolutely. The way that so many of us think about traditional English countryside comes directly from Constable and the haywain, and I think he's still as meaningful today as he was back then in changing ways. But yeah, he's a household name.
And what do you hope people will take away from this?
I hope they'll think about Constable in a different way. I hope they will come and see this very unique exhibition. It's only here in Winchester. And yeah, perhaps change their views on Constable, challenging this kind of idea we have of him as a chocolate box landscape painter. And I hope that they'll find some sort of hope and meaning in it. You know, focusing on nature and the natural world, focusing on creativity are things which can help us get through some of life's difficult challenges.
And there's a chance for people to find out more and to meet you and learn a bit more as well.
That's right, yes. So I'll be doing a lecture here in August, the 10th of August, where I'll be revealing a bit more about Constable, perhaps picking out some things that you wouldn't necessarily know about him again. And I'll be doing some tours around the gallery as well on the 11th of August. One of the incredible things which I'm always excited to do is we've got some very high profile lenders for the exhibition. The Tate, the Royal Academy, the V&A, Gainsborough's house in Suffolk have lent us some things that come directly from the Constable family. So we're very grateful to the lenders, but incredible to have these things on your doorstep in Winchester.
Well, the exhibition runs from now until the 16th of August. That's all for this week. Many thanks for listening.